So as you can see, name of the class is current thread demo, and within the main function, we are trying to call the current thread constructor of the thread class. So as we know, thread is a super class for all the threads which we create. So whichever thread you create, it can be created in two different ways: by implementing runnable interface or by extending the superclass thread. So these are the two ways with which we can create. So in this program, the first approach is being used, that is extending thread is being used. So current thread is the constructor with which we create the new thread, and that is being assigned to the reference variable t. And in this statement, we are simply printing the status of that thread, that is current thread t. So it will print the display name and its priority and its name of the group. All those details will be printed. And then we are trying to change name of the thread by invoking set name function, and we are assigning new name here. So you can give any other name here for the thread. Then after the change, what is the status that we are displaying? And in this try block, actual functioning of the thread is happening. If any errors are there, and that will be resolved in the catch block. So what is happening in the execution of the thread here is we are iterating the for loop 5 times from 5 to 0, and we are just printing the value of that variable n. So it will be printed from n to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we are just trying to print the values of n. And after printing every output, the thread is being made to sleep for 1000 milliseconds, nothing but 1 second. So sleep is a method which will temporarily suspend or stop the execution of the thread. So we have also seen in the execution in the last class, right? So Java C current thread demo Java current thread demo, right? So as you can see the output here, it is being suspended. Execution of the thread is being suspended for 1 second or 1000 milliseconds. So what it says here is in the beginning current thread. So thread details are being displayed, which name of the thread is main thread, its priority is 5, and the thread is belonging to main group. So these are the details: name, its priority, and the group to which the thread belongs to. And we are trying to change here. What is that here? T dot set name. We are trying to change name of the thread. Here we are trying to change name of the thread, and after changing the name, again we are displaying details of the thread here. Again we are displaying details of the thread. So that is what is outputting this line, second line. So what it says, after the name change, the details of the thread are my thread, that is name of the thread, because we have changed the name of the thread to my thread in the previous statement. So we have changed the name of the thread to my thread. So my thread, what is its priority? Its priority value is 5, that is highest for the main thread. Then to which group it belongs to? It is belonging to the main group. And these are the 5 iterations of the for loop. And after every iteration, that is after every execution of the thread, it is being suspended for 1 millisecond. So I will show the execution. I will show the output once again. You can observe it is being stopped for 1 millisecond, right? If you want, you can either increase or decrease the value, that is value of suspension, or the time duration you can vary as per the needs, right? This was the concept what we have already covered. Now going to the two ways of creating a thread. A thread can be created by using two ways. First one is by implementing runnable interface, and second one is by extending the superclass thread. So the almost all the programs in this textbook we are trying to implement by using runnable interface only. So this is the easiest way to implement the runnable interface. So it is going just abstract a unit of executable code. We can construct a thread on any object that implements the runnable interface. That means if one object is implementing the runnable interface, then we can construct thread by using that particular object. So how to implement the runnable interface? A class need only to implement a single method called run. if you want to implement, if a class wants to implement the runnable interface, or if a class wants to create a thread, it must implement one method that is called as run. So if a class is trying to implement run method, nothing but what it is trying to do, it is trying to create a new thread. So wherever you see the run method, nothing but the beginning of the new thread is taking place. So inside the run method, we will define the code that we want to write within the thread or within the definition of the thread. So run can call other methods also. So it is important to note that run can call other methods, use other classes, and declare variables just like main thread can do. That is, whatever main thread can do, the child thread can also perform the similar tasks. And the only difference is run establishes the entry point for the another. The only difference here is what run will make. Run will begin the execution of new thread. It will give life to new thread. So after you create a class that implements the runnable, that means when a class is created which is implementing the runnable interface, we will create an object of type thread. Thread defines a thread is nothing but this very super class for all the threads. So thread defines several constructors, and one very basic constructor type here is this one, thread, runnable object, and the name of the thread. So in this constructor, what we have here is thread OB is an instance of the class that has implemented the runnable interface. So this statement is common for all the threads. So thread OB is an object that has implemented the runnable interface, and it is trying to create the new thread with the name this particular thread name, with the name this particular thread name. So whenever we create a new thread, it will not start running until you call the start method. So when you create the thread will not begin the execution. So it will be in the just beginning state. If you want to begin execution of the thread, you should call start method of that, which is declared within the thread class. In a sense, the start executes a call to run. That means after creating, you should start the execution. That in turn will call the run method. So as we know, whenever the run method is executed, then the actual execution of thread will begin. And who will call this run method? It is possible to call the run method only when you call the start method of the thread. So here is an example scenario in which we have two different threads created here. So I'll take it here, this one, thread demo.java. So here new thread implements enable thread demo.java. So this program and this theoretical part, this output, everything, first part I'll explain here because this is easy to better way, right? So this class, this program is having two different classes here. The source file is having two classes. First class is with the name called new thread, which is implementing the runnable interface. So we know that there are two ways to create a new thread, either implement the runnable interface or extend the thread class. So we are seeing the first approach, implementing the runnable interface. When reference variable t is taken, reference variable t is taken for the thread. So with the help of t, we can point to the new instance of the thread. So new thread is the constructor of this. Here it will be called. From here, this constructor will be called. So new thread is being created. See, call a new thread, that is second thread. Already main thread is executing. So we are calling a second thread. So better I will go from the main function. So it will be easy to understand. So I will go from this class because execution of the program will always start from the main function. So for better understanding, I will go like this. That will be easy to understand because threads are confusing. The understanding the order of thread execution is important. So I will go from the main part. So class demo is a class. First we'll execute this one. Whenever you run the bytecode which is containing main function, the execution of main thread will begin. Execution of main thread will begin, and immediately the very first statement here is we are calling constructor. we are calling constructor new thread. So execution of the program will begin from the main. The very first statement here is new thread. So what happens here is control will get transferred to the definition, that is from here to control will get transferred to the definition of the new thread. So new thread constructor is being called. So new thread constructor is being called. Now this is where the definition, see here main thread is already executing. Main thread has started execution, but as a part of main thread, we are calling the new thread constructor. That means one more thread we are creating. Main thread has already started execution here, but as a part of execution of the main thread, we are creating one more child thread. So this is what is child thread, constructor of the child thread. So this new thread is being created. New thread is being created. So what this statement allows here is to create a pointer to the current thread by giving it a name called demo thread. By giving it a name called demo thread. So ultimately, T is a new child thread. So T is a new child thread which is created just now and its details are being displayed. That is child thread and its details. Then begin the execution of the start the execution of the thread. It is, as we know, if you want to, here we are just creating the thread and display its details in the next statement. But if you want to actually begin the execution of the thread, you should call start method. You should call start method of the thread. So now control will get transferred from here to here. See, this everything is happening within the constructor new thread only. So void here, this will start the execution of the thread. This is the entry point for the second thread. That means the child thread what we have created here. So what is happening here is within the try block, just now we have seen the previous program. The same for loop is iterating for 5 times. So child thread is being displayed and it is being suspended for 500 milliseconds. So after execution of this child thread, the child thread will be terminated. That means exiting the child thread message will be printed. So now as well, this was the execution of the child thread and this is the execution of the main thread. So main thread is being printed, main thread message is being given and give the value of I. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it will be displayed. And the difference here is the main thread is suspending for 1000 milliseconds and child thread is being suspended for 500 milliseconds. So this will help us to achieve synchronization between the two threads. So how I'll explain with the demonstration, you will come to know clearly. So now it will iterate for 5 times and last method is being given here is last statement is main thread is exiting. Main thread is exiting. Right? 1 second. I'll first execute the program. Later I will explain. Java C thread demo Java, right? Java thread demo. So please observe the output flow. I'll explain it later why actually this output is coming. Right? So as you can observe here, after every statement, the sleep time we have given and the outputs are changing. Because two threads are running parallelly. What are the two threads? One is main thread and another one is child thread. Now, as per this output flow, I will explain this code once again because now we have the output parallelly. So this will help us to understand the program. So the very first part, one second, I'll keep it here like this. Format and go to font. I'll try to reduce, I'll try to make it 12. Right? 1 second. System has hanged, I think. It is not taking input. No. Window is not responding. This text document is not working. Right? Which program is that? Thread demo, right? I'll open that program also. Thread demo.java. Right? I'll keep it beside here and this output part here. For understanding, I'll keep these things parallelly. Java thread demo. I'll keep the output ready beside of the part. Right. So once we have the output, execution will always, now you concentrate for better understanding. Execution will always start from the main thread. So main thread will always start, and then we are going to call the constructor. So first main thread has started, then we are going to call the constructor. So control will get transferred to here and we will create the child thread. The process will continue. First we'll create the main thread, then call the child thread. So this is the execution of child thread here, then parent thread, main thread. So child and main both will be executing parallelly. So very first statement of the output, what we can see here is, see here, this when we call the new thread here, this is where the main thread is executing. But before that, there is something is happening in the main new thread. So control has already transferred from here to here. So what it will do, we will create a thread. So this is, we are giving name for that as demo thread and then displaying its value, that is child thread. So as you can see here is the details are first what is being printed in the output screen, child thread. So thread details are name of the thread is demo thread, priority is 5, it is also belonging to main group. It is also belonging to main group. And then we are starting the execution of the child thread. So execution of the child thread will take place within this run function. So execution of child thread will take place within this run function and execution of the main thread will take place within this try block. So child thread is executing here and main thread is executing here. So these two parts you should concentrate now. This is child thread and this is main thread. So as you can see here is we have created the child thread and we have started the execution of the child thread. But already main thread was created here. So first chance is, first priority is main thread in for our first priority is main thread will execute first. So you can see here the very first statement the output is main thread and the value of n is 5. So here main thread and value of I is what? 5. So main thread value of I is 5. It will get displayed. Main thread value of I is 5. It will get displayed. Now, once the main thread has given its statement for statement, it is being suspended for 1000 milliseconds. That means when this is suspended, then chance will be given for the child thread. That's why child thread is executing 2 times. So your main thread will wait for 1000 milliseconds and child thread is suspending for 500 milliseconds. That means till completion of 1000 milliseconds, child thread will be getting chance 2 times. Child thread will get the CPU 2 times. That's why after main thread, child thread, child thread. In the output, we can see main thread 5, then child thread 5, child thread 4. So this is just the value of I which is being displayed. Then after completion of this, again child, when child and parent both are ready, then chance will be given for the main thread. So main thread will execute and it will suspend for 1000 milliseconds. Then again child thread will execute for 2 times. Then again main thread will get chance and it will suspend for 1000 milliseconds and child thread will get the chance. But already the execution of only 500 milliseconds are sufficient for the child thread, so it will complete. So a child thread will complete the execution, then only main thread is left out, so it will execute and then main thread will terminate. Then main thread will terminate. Now probably this may not be clear to you, I have taken one more approach for explanation. So this must be very clear to you now. So please concentrate. I'm showing the time axis, like how these threads will execute, right? So at the 0th time interval, M indicates main thread, right? So please concentrate. M indicates main thread. Main thread has executed. So what is the time duration after execution of the main thread? Main thread will always sleep for 1000 milliseconds, and child thread here, it will always sleep for 500 milliseconds. 1000 milliseconds and 500 milliseconds, right? This is what is assume this is the time axis. So this is the time axis which will help us to understand the execution of threads. So this row is time axis. So 0 milliseconds, 500 milliseconds, 1000 milliseconds, 1500, 2000, 2500, 3500, and so on. Right? This is time axis. So in the very beginning, main thread will execute at the, will begin at the 0th time interval. And somewhere after here, child thread will begin. Somewhere after here, child thread will begin. Share ಮಾಡೋದು ಬೇಡ ಸರ್. ಕೊರೋನಾ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಬೇಡ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ. I'm conducting class. So after 15 minutes, I'll come. Okay, sorry for that. Main thread will start execution immediately. Somewhere here, the child thread will also start. Within the time duration is very fraction, so we'll be not able to make it out. So from main thread has started execution, and its sleep time is what? From here to here. It is going to sleep because the sleep time given for the main thread is 1000 milliseconds. Given for the main thread is 1000 milliseconds. And execution time for the child thread is, it will execute and sleep for 500 milliseconds. So it will sleep from here to here. And after 500 milliseconds, in this time duration, the main thread is still sleeping. Why? Because from here to here, the main thread will sleep. But in this time duration, after 500 milliseconds, child thread execute. So from 0 to 500, child thread will execute. Again, from 500 to 1000, only child thread will get the chance. So that's why the output is like this. Main thread 5, child thread 5, and then child thread 4. So for one instance of the main thread, child thread is executing 2 times, because sleep time for main thread is 1000 milliseconds, sleep time for child thread is 500 milliseconds. Now at this point of time, assume at this point of time, 1000 millisecond and 1000 millisecond, main has executed 1 time and child has executed 2 times. Again, now the rotation will be given for the main thread. So main thread will execute. See here in the output, main thread will execute, and then it will, from here to here, it will sleep again. Main thread will execute and it will sleep. In this time interval, again child thread will execute 3rd time and child thread will execute 4th time. See here, main thread executed once, and again child 3, child 2. Then again the chance will come for the main thread. After execution, it will sleep for 1000 milliseconds. It has to suspend for, actually it has to suspend for 1000 milliseconds. But after the execution of the main thread, child thread requires only 500 milliseconds. Child thread requires only 500 milliseconds, and it will execute for 500 milliseconds. It will execute for 500 milliseconds. After, at this point of time, at point 2500, child thread has completed its execution completely. So you can see here, child thread will terminate execution. Child thread will terminate execution, and only main thread is left out. So it will sleep for up to here. Then it will again execute. Then again it will sleep for 1000 milliseconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Execute and sleep. So main thread 2, main thread 1, then exiting the main thread. So this is how which will help us to understand the execution of the threads. So sleep time will decide which particular thread will get, because when there are two threads which are executing parallelly, they will share the CPU, and this sleep time will help us to understand. So now you can see parallelly. I'll show the output once again. So here, based on this order, it is executing main thread, then two instances of the child first it will take, then two instances of the child first, then main. One second, I'll show the output. Yes, give the display the status of the child, execute main first. Main, two child threads. Main, two child threads. Main, only one child thread, because it has it has completed. It needs totally 2500 milliseconds for execution, and main requires 5000 milliseconds. So it is being, the CPU is being shared between main thread and the child thread. So hope this is clear. So you have any queries or doubts, please ask. How actually I have tried to explain with all the possible means what I can. I have given the demonstration. I have used the paint to show the time duration. But in fact, if you read it, it will be still clear to you. Here, this theory part is given how the execution will be shared, because when there are more than two threads, they have to share the CPU among themselves. No doubts? Okay. Then I'll go for the second approach for creating threads. So first approach was by extending the runnable interface, implementing the runnable interface, which we have seen, and this one is extending the threads. So just you inherit the superclass and extend the thread. So the only one statement is different here compared to the previous program. Remaining all is same. The execution is same, output is also same. I'll show that program. Ex extend thread.java. So when you can see this program is having same syntax like what we have discussed till now. So new thread constructor is being called, and only the way of creating the new thread is different. Here we had used what? We had implemented the runnable interface. But here the statement is different for creating new thread. We are just calling constructor of the superclass. So which is the superclass here? New thread is extending thread class. So as we know, thread is the superclass for all the threads. So we are just calling the one second. See here, I'll keep both the programs side by side. It will help us to understand the difference. In the first program, what we have discussed just now, we created a new thread by calling thread constructor, and here we are calling the new thread by just calling the constructor of the superclass. Both are same. So nothing but what is superclass here? Superclass, we are calling constructor of the superclass thread. This is also the same, because super is a keyword. We know that super is a keyword that will always, that can be used for calling constructor of the superclass. So here we are, in this statement we are trying to call constructor of the superclass, and here also we are trying to call constructor of the superclass. That is the difference. Remaining all parties same for this program, and the execution of the output sequence is also same. So I will show the output of this extend thread program. Java C extend thread Java extend thread. So you can see main thread 5, same output sequence we'll get. We'll get the same sequence of output. Their threads are being swapped. Main thread will get main thread, then two child, main will complete, then main, then child will complete, then two instances of the main, then main thread will terminate. Right? So these were the two ways. So whichever approach you want, you can choose it depending on the need. But throughout this rest of this chapter, that means in this textbook, basically the implementing runnable interface approach is being used. So two approaches we have seen: either implement the runnable interface or by extending the superclass thread. So most of the examples are considering the extension of going for the approach to extend the runnable interface. How can we create multiple threads? This part I'll be explaining in the next class. So wait for some time. We'll take the attendance. Probably in the next class I will give you Naveen, stop the recording.